Good morning, everybody. Scott Fischer, Options for Senior Living. Don't let Haboob hit you in the face. Welcome back to our newest episode, and I'm excited to introduce you guys to my guest this morning, Dr. William Deihl. Dr. Deihl is Dr. Hypno Doc. He goes by lots of names, he said to me. But when we met a few weeks back, we talked about the impact that aging was having on so many of his clients and people that come in and out of his world all the time. And the first time we met, we talked and thought, oh, this is going to be a fantastic conversation. So, Doc, I'm so glad you're here to join me today. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's my honor to be here. One of my things is always to help out the community and be out there to help educate and lead people to a better place. So yes, if you have questions for this, I'll share this right now. I'll do it probably at the end. My website is dochypnosis.com, and you're more than welcome out if you have later on some questions. So I'm happy to be here, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. In your LinkedIn bio, you talk about you're a third generation hypnotherapist. You've been voted best in Phoenix for nobody's best in class once, but 3 years in a row. That's got to be a reflection of your heart, your passion, your family's passion and commitment to care for others.
I think it is. It's one of those things that I stumbled a father's information about him being a hypnotist, and then I stumbled upon my grandfather being a hypnotist, and this is after I had a Ph.D. in psychology. My father passed, and I found his certificate, and then I found out my grandfather was certified, and then I realized I was a third generation hypnotist. We approached this in a very family friendly manner. We're here for you. You're not a number. I think that's reflected in each one of our sessions. When you come on in, I do a progressive form, what I call neuroflow hypnosis, where we actually go and reassess every time we meet with you to make sure we get the best out of every session. And it makes I would say about 1/3 faster than traditional hypnosis.
Well, there's got to be stigmas and some barriers to overcome for people when they come in. Fear that they're losing control, fear that some things that are buried deep are going to come up and out. What? So you want to take any of that on for a minute?
Oh, sure. No problem. I actually address that in every one of my sessions. The very first time meeting someone, they'll come in. One, I don't know what's going to happen. Two, if I have a strong mind, will it work for me? The honest opinion is everybody goes into hypnosis. We go into hypnosis. It's a natural process. You ever driven someplace and wondered how you got there? Hey, you went into what's called highway hypnosis. They gave us credit. Yay. So you actually go into hypnosis throughout your day, 7 to 10 times. There's some studies actually say 100 times a day. So 7 to 10 times easiest for me. So it's a natural process. And a lot of people think you have to pass out. You have to be hypnotized. Reality is, I just talked about people driving while under hypnosis because of the highway or while looking at the phone. They go into a state of hypnosis. You don't have to close your eyes. You get in a relaxed state and you kind of think everything, but you lost track of time. Or they get into a more in-depth state of hypnosis where they get hyper focused and relaxed and they realize they don't hear everything or pay attention to everything, and that would be like the flow state, like someone walking in and you didn't see them, or someone says your name and you don't hear them. That would be like the flow or a zone. A lot of athletes get in that I work with. They actually talk about the flow or the zone. And the third state is that pass out state, that going to sleep and coming out of sleep. There's a sweet spot. You go in there. The third myth most people think about hypnosis is, oh my God, are you going to control me? I can't control you. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. Can't make you into a bank robber, can't make you into a murderer. So it's like, it's what you want and helping you take control of your own mind. And the last thing, most people will ask, well, does depth mean anything? Can you take me really deep? And realize that depth doesn't mean much. I've had individuals have a breakthrough while staring up the ceiling, eyes wide open, others bent over, drooling, having a breakthrough. Or someone gives me a call 3 days after their last session and goes, hey, do you do voodoo? I go, no, I do have a I do have a magic wand, but that's just for show. But it's not anything magical. If anything, it's helping you find the magic within you.
I love that. My hope with this show and each of these episodes, as I talk to various professionals, is to get at some of the, I don't know, the commonalities or the similarities that exist within people from various aspects of different professionals, businesses, or their lives. This issue of aging is a heavy, heavy thing. It feels as if the last 8 or 10 years, so many of us in our generation that are now experiencing the impacts of it, our own, coupling with that, the aging journey of our parents has really compounded the issue. My situation is there's 4 generations of us alive. Like, well, my mom just passed, but my mother, myself, my kids, my grandkids, those of us in the middle of this are juggling a lot. Hence, they end up potentially in your office sorting out the issues of their life, their love, or challenges and traumas with their parents, their siblings, the pressures of maintaining a career, a marriage, being a parent. Parenting our adult kids is often harder than parenting them when they were 5. And then we have our grandkids. So I'm saying a lot here that it crosses a lot of scopes and a lot of layers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Aging is just not just one for yourself. It's a family issue, and it's something to take a look at because for myself, I think I shared about that. My mom is actually going and battling Alzheimer's. So that
Mm.
battle by itself is so different because it's like the person you've known all your life is dissolving in front of you, and they can't remember certain things and do certain things, and they were at one time the pillar of strength for you, but now you're the pillar of strength for them. You're the guidance. So there's a lot of stress. So a lot of people do come to me with stress and anxiety and how to handle it. I've had other individuals face certain hurdles. I have a wonderful woman just sent me a fantastic text that I worked with. She's in her 60s, but she's battling cancer, and we're helping her get her appetite back, facing how she can face life a little bit differently, satisfying the calmer parts of life. So there's many parts of aging. So how I look at it, it's a journey, it's a new normal, and we need to embrace that new normal. And then from there, build from it and thrive from it, not just try to survive from it.
How much does our free will as humans, interfere with our need to embrace acceptance of things that we didn't choose, acceptance of things that are real, that are being forced upon us, that I think would cause because the other side of that, I guess, is another thing is if we're not accepting things, it could create a whole myriad of crummy coping skills, self-defeating personality characteristics, all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh, sometimes that can cause rashes and physical manifestations. So, looking at acceptance and or really the power of choice. Everything we do is a choice. Our happiness is a choice. Which way we go home is a choice. So each part of our life is a choice. And if we get stuck in a path, that path could be one or two things. One, we're trying to fight it and understand that we don't have the strength to change the weather. So we need to understand what do we have power on and what we don't have power of. And knowing that we have a choice of which we focus on will help us be able to handle what's coming at us a little differently. And then we also have that inherited form of stress that is coming through. And I think that's where you're leading to as well, where we are taught we need to act a certain way or face things a certain way in our life when we're growing up. And really, what we do in hypnosis is give the mind new choices. Our mind wants to thrive. Our mind wants to heal. We want to be in a happy state. We don't want to be in a fight or flight state. That's there for a reason, and it's good, but it goes unchecked. It's bad. So we actually help people navigate, give them options, and naturally their mind is going to go down the path that's easier and safer and happier.
The American consumer is kind of funny. We tend to wait till there's a crisis till we do anything. I have a conversation with people all the time about call me before the crisis as they're planning to navigate some rough waters with their loved ones or their parents or whatever. Call me before the crisis so that we can have a plan and work together. How effective is your outreach, or what would you want people to do more of as they're maybe moving into these seasons of life? There's been some indicators going on. Man, you've got to have some things you wish people would do more of, right?
Well, I think it's for me, it would be get out the stigma of mental health. All right. Everybody
Mm.
looks at it. They don't see that someone's struggling and hurting and the pain that they're going through because there's no cast on it. There's no rash. There's no sweats. There's no fever. But there's people that are hurting out there. And then people go, well, just put up with it, deal with it, because they don't understand the agony that individual's going through. So one is the outside of that individual is get out of the stigma. Men, it's okay to face that there's issues. A lot of times I have men come to me. I remember having this gentleman. He's a very influential, wealthy individual. Came in, high performer, entrepreneur, multi, maybe even a billionaire. Come in, sitting in my chair, and I helped him get into a nice, relaxed state to work on something he wanted to work on. And I'll say it, he started crying. And crying is fine. That's a release of emotions that you've been holding back. He says, I have never felt relaxation before. I've never felt like I was calm before. And guys, that tells me that it afflicts everybody from billionaires to people on the street. So take a look and understand mental health. All health starts with your mind. And if we don't do anything about it beforehand, it's going to lead into a cancer. It's going to lead into other diseases that we have ability to prevent by just taking control of our mind and realizing we can go down a different path than we've been going down. And that will lead us to proper eating and proper health and proper digestion across the board.
It's a real cultural dilemma in our society because if we admit we're struggling or admit there's problems and I can't handle it, then we often look at that person differently, maybe with less confidence and that's just not fair, right? That's just not fair. And you also touched on the physical manifestations of letting these issues go unaddressed.
Right.
And that may be a whole nother conversation. Research and study. Yeah, man. Because if we don't get a handle on this issue and the impact of the aging issue better. And here's what was kind of prompting me behind the scenes. I went and saw my primary care doctor for my annual physical. And every year they hand me a piece of paper. They call it depression inventory.
Right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, smiley face being the happiest, grumpy face being bad. How are you doing with eating, drinking, exercise? As some sort of indicator, like those are connected to my depression or whatever. And so I just circle all happy faces. And I handed it back to him and I said, if you guys would ask me the question, is there somebody in my life whose aging journey is causing me pain or distress? I would talk to you all day. But you're asking me about all the symptoms of the issues, and you're not really getting to the point. And right now, at my point in life, is my business and my mother are causing me the problems. Ask the right questions, you'll get better set of answers. And so I just want to be able to equip other professionals that might be listening to us. Doc, that what would you want them to be asking in their practices about some of these issues? How do you want them to uncover maybe some deeper issues so that they can get to the core and really help their clients well and not just talk over things?
No, I love what you just shared because I kind of approach it the same way. I look at the health and eating right and exercising are all of parts of a tree branch or branches. It's not the trunk of the tree. And you talked about the trunk of the tree, the mother, the family issues, the work issues. That's the trunk of the tree. And I think there's a useful sayings that I use, and a lot of doctors don't go going on how it's happening. And I always talk to my clients because they come in and they always come to me and go, well, I'm trying to figure out why I do something or why is this happening? And I like saying whys create lies because whys give you a chance to make an excuse for yourself. What gives you the purpose? Hows give you the process. So I say change those whys to what's and hows. Let's find out what's going on. Let's find out how it's helping you. Well, for instance, someone comes in and they're smoking. All right, what is it giving you? How is it helping you? I could say all day long, why are you smoking? And they go, oh, it helps me relax. Well, nicotine is a stimulant. It's not going to help you relax. Okay. Okay. So let's think about this. Oh, it helps me do this. I've had people ask a simple question of one, just, and you can do this if you have smokers out there that are doing this, this might even cut their smoking in half. They write down the time and date of what they're when they're smoking, and they put a simple question: what is this giving me? And they answer that question. And from there, they come back to me and I can help do that. They'll help me get to the root or the trunk of the tree. It's amazing. I've had people come back and say, smoking is my best friend. Smoking is my lover. Smoking is the only thing I can ever depend on. Can I talk about, is that relaxation? Is that, it's the only sense of control I have throughout the day. Okay, that's the trunk. That's the
Yeah.
smoking is the symptom. So same thing when you're talking about the stress and constantly going through stress is going to cause the cortisol buildup and release in your system. So you're going to get that, belly fat. Stress is going to cause that hardening of the arteries because of the cortisol being dumped. So we need to take a look at it and realize that mental health is as much as physical or spiritual health. So I kind of look at a triangle when I'm working with my clients, and maybe a lot of doctors need to do this. There's a
Yeah.
physical part. That's movement, exercise, mobility. The chemical part, that's the eating and nutrition and vitamins and some medications. And then there's a spiritual or mental part. So there's to make that pyramid, to make that triangle, you have to hit all three to make sure you're serving your clients properly. And I think that's it for health practitioners who are listening to this. Take a look at those. If you can't handle the mental or spiritual side, send them someone that can. If you can't handle the chemical side, send it to someone that can. If you're not able to give them physical movement or how they can help them physically, send them someone that can. Be willing, because we're not here to just help them and with just hypnosis. When they come to doc hypnosis, they come to me and I look at them as a friend. I look at them as a partner. I'm going to work with them to help them get to where they need to go. And I'm going to suggest this morning, I text out and referred 3 doctors to a client that needs help because, hey, I know what they need. I can see it. They're talking to me. So be there for your clients.
You're really addressing the entire person and not just an aspect of them, but you're coming at this from the whole.
Yeah, when I got this philosophy from a gentleman, his name was Dr. Stephen Kitt Taylor. He was actually a neurologist. He was a chiropractor. He actually wrote the board examination for neurology. He was one of my best friends, and he approached this whenever he worked with anybody with that structure, that pyramid structure. And when you take the whole person into being, it becomes a life-changing experience. I had a chiropractor in working with her. She's like, oh my God, I came in for this, but this was life-changing. That's how it should be. We need to make
Yeah.
people's lives better.
Yeah, amen to that. As we kind of come in for a landing here, I want to ask you one kind of further question. Obviously, the show about this haboob thing in Arizona, we have these crazy storms where this summer a 65-mile wide wall of dirt hit the city and we weren't ready for it. Nobody knew it was coming. It was a mile high. Pictures, I mean, just it's crazy. It's a metaphor for what happens in life. Things are happening in people's lives all the time or in our families' lives. Subtle things, maybe even some more obvious. But when we don't pay attention to those changes and those subtle instances or occurrences, people find themselves in the crisis of haboob. When have you seen, is there I don't know, an experience of a clinical case or a client you may have seen recently who maybe had been ignoring a bunch of obvious signs and then wham, they're nailed by something large, whether it's with an aging parent or some other crisis. You made the connection between our spiritual mental health, our body, the condition of our chemistry, our exercise and movement, and now like a cancer shows up. I mean, that's a haboob that nobody wants to talk about. I mean, that just right. But I imagine you've seen plenty of haboobs in your day.
Oh, yeah, and I'll do two that just came in. One was that cancer patient I just talked about. She is stage 4, and I won't go into to say names or anything else. I'll just give general information. She put her health aside because of her husband was sick and was not able to take care of himself because of a stroke. So she didn't take care of herself, and she said, "I have a lot of resentment in me because I waited and I didn't take care of this at stage 1. I took it at stage 4." And she put herself last. So I talk about people everybody, talks about what's going on, but if they don't put themselves into the equation, it never adds up. So you always have to put yourself into the equation of taking care of yourself. So her and I started talking. We started sharing. So yeah, did I work with her about eating and getting and being able to get her strength back up? Yes, 100%. But did I work on that resentment, that anger, that hurt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on that too. And we have to, because you have to look at the whole picture. The other one is mental health. It's a double whammy. Is a woman that came on in. I'm working with her, and her business associate committed suicide, and she found the person.
Oh,
So, and
oh man.
no one saw it. No, well, they did see it. They were asking for help. People said the job interview. That's what I'm saying. Now she's going through hurt. Half the office is going through hurt. It happens if someone just took the time to say, hey, go get help. Mental health is just as important as taking care of your teeth, just important as taking care of your heart and everything else. This organ called your brain handles everything. And why the
Yeah.
hell do we put it last? I don't understand that.
I'm with you, man. I started my journey in healthcare in 1986. I graduated with my degree from Arizona State College of Nursing. I was one of the few fellows that went through the nursing school back in the 80s. Yeah. And my area was mental health and psychiatric nursing. I worked with troubled kids, folks with addictions, chronic pain, adult. I mean, I had a pretty broad gamut of things over 20 years. Led me to working with aging individuals that were suffering psychiatric symptoms associated with their Parkinson's and their Alzheimer's disease and things like that. And that's how I kind of got into these spaces over the years to guide families through this journey of this murky, swampy, complicated, complex world of aging and senior living and senior care. And your insights have been, I just think have been invaluable. We want to reach those individuals who are still working, balancing a lot of things in their life, that may have kids and grandkids and may have a parent that's aging. We want to reach those professionals that you have these people in your life. You employ them. They're in your churches. They're at your medical practices. So if you're a professional listening to us, heed the warning, ask the right questions, be sensitive to the needs of the people that are work for you or that are at your church, that we have to ask them with kindness and compassion, the right questions, and help bring some of these issues to the table, right?
100%.
Oh, man. This has been so much fun. I promise you we're going to do this some more. Yeah, I feel like you've left me with some things. The last thing, just in the last little bit, you said put yourself into the equation. So many of us in the helping professions do not, right? And so if you're a professional educator, social worker, clinician, nurse, physician, counselor, we often put ourselves last with intention. So please hear the warning. I've heard the warning today. I appreciate it, Doc. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and expertise in your heart with the audience today. I'm really grateful and look forward to doing this again.
Thank you very much, Scott. It was an honor to be on.
We'll do this again. All right, y'all. Have a great one. We'll see y'all later. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thanks.